So we're going to get started with working on the inventory and pricing system. So one of the things that I had issues with is that as I looked for sources to keep track of inventory, there are a lot of great products out there, but nothing that really followed, the materials that you need to make the products. They were all just the end product focused, and I figured out I can do this in Notion. So let's go ahead and build this thing. So to start with, we're going to have five tables. So let's go ahead and just get these in here and started. I like to put my tables in a toggle. That way it's easier to close them up when I'm not looking directly at them. All right, so now that we've got the tables we're going to be building, let's go ahead and get started first with, I'm going to make this full width. I'm also going to put a dividing line here. Let's do like quote, it's back office. So later I'm going to build the structure that we want to have visible above this line. All right. So let's go ahead and start with first the materials table. And so we have name. Here I'm going to edit this and call this type. And the option is going to be plant, Minstrom. So that's like what I use to withdraw the nutrients, so whether that's vodka or water or an oil, etc. So in your system, you would just have to figure out what are the base things that you need in your system as your base materials. All right, so next I'm going to do this thing that I call as just a text field called size. And so what I'm going to use this for is that when I look at where I source the material from, I want to make sure I'm keeping track of like what is the size that I'm getting. So if I'm getting 4 ounces or 750 milliliters or whatever the size is, I want to make sure that I'm getting the same information so that I can compare that each time with the cost, which is the next thing we're going to put in. And I just remind myself that it's cost per ounce or cost, per item, like the smallest unit I can get of that. And then I want to use the status property, but I'm going to change these defaults to out of stock. I'm going to assume that when I put something in, it's out of stock until I've gone and purchased it. All right, and then the last one is just going to be a checkbox that's going to be like reorder placed. And basically I'll use this field for if I'm going shopping, then I can tick this off as I'm in the store, or if I've ordered online, then I can tick that off and know that it's coming, and so not to duplicate orders. All right, so let's go ahead and do an example. So let's say that I'm going to have some Tulsi, and this is going to be the plant, and the base cost that I can buy is 4 ounces. Oh, there's another property I forgot here, which is the URL, because I want to keep track of where I bought it from. So source. Okay. And so, oh, that's not what I mean. The cost per ounce is $5.75, and I'm getting 4 ounces. And the source is going to be, in this case, Mount Rose herb. Okay. Now I happen to have these in stock, so I'm going to go ahead and say in stock and leave that be. So I will fill in some more, but you get an idea of how the materials table is going to work. Let's go ahead and move on to the ingredients table. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, I don't need this tag, so I'm going to delete that property. And let's add a relation to the materials table, but I want it to be one way. I actually do not want to corrupt the information in the materials table. It's just materials. So in every relationship that I make from here on out, if I have to connect to the materials table, it's going to be a one-way directional, and I can see that here. All right, the next property we're going to do is a roll-up, where we take, where we take from the materials table that cost, and we're going to do the sum. Okay. Then the next thing we want to do for is to say the amount that we're going to use. And we're going to relate it to the remedy table. And in this case, I do want it to go both ways. And you'll see that in a minute, because we're actually not going to likely add the ingredients directly into the ingredients table. We're going to add them within the remedies table, and we want to be able to filter on the remedy that we're working on. And then finally, we're going to do a formula, which is going to be the total cost. And that's simply going to be the let's go back and fix this. This shouldn't say roll up. This should say cost. All right. So now this is simply going to be the cost divided, times the amount. Okay. And so, well, I'm going to go ahead and put an example here. So let's say we make, we're going to use the Tulsi in a tincture. And so the amount I'm going to use is going to be 8 ounces. And then the material here would be that Tulsi. Okay, and so we can immediately see that it's going to cost me $46 to make 8 ounces of Tulsi. Yeah, that's real expensive, because that's not the right property. Let's go ahead and edit this. This is not the cost we bought it for. We want we want the cost per ounce to be divided before I put that in. So let's come back here and let's do the math. So 5.75 divided by 4 is actually 1.44. That sounds more reasonable. Okay. So now when we go and look, it costs us $11.52 to use 8 ounces of Tulsi. So that makes a lot more sense. I'm actually going to pull this down to 4, because I'm going to say I'm going to make a cup of tincture, and I'm going to use, since it's dried herbs, I'm going to use half. So I only need 4 ounces. All right. Some of these numbers are made up. I would actually have to weigh that out to see if 4 ounces is half a cup, but that works for these purposes. All right, let's go ahead and work on the remedies table. I'm just deleting some of these extra things here that we don't need. Okay, so for remedies, I'm going to, for now, to keep the tags property. I'm not yet sure what I'm going to use it for, but let's, probably maybe the type of remedy it is. let's use number, size, so here we already have the ingredients from doing that relationship last time. So now we just want to do a roll up and select the cost, the total cost of that ingredient, and we want to show the sum. All right, and then we want to do the cost per ounce of this, which is going to be a formula. Okay, so that's just the ingredients divided by the size, the ingredient cost divided by the size. And then we want to do a relationship to property, to product. And this we want to be a two-way relationship. And finally, we're going to go ahead and use status again to show our inventory status. All right, and so the next thing we're going to do is then the products table. And here I want to put, I don't need tags here. I already have that remedies roll up. So I actually want to put the packaging as a relationship to materials, and remember I want this to go one way. I'm going to do a second materials relationship that's going to be also one way, but this time it's going to be the label. Okay. And then I want to do true roll-up properties for those. So roll up, select packaging, select cost. Okay, so then I also want to do a roll up of the remedy cost. And the next one is a number, and it's just going to be how much that we're using. And then we want to figure out what the total cost is. So that's going to be a formula, total cost, that's what we're calling it. And that's going to be the packaging. Oh, why is the packaging cost? Oh, interesting. Okay, that's going to be the packaging. Oh, because I didn't sum it. So you see how it shows as a text field. So let's edit this property and make sure that we do it as a sum. That's how we make it a number, so that it won't mess up our equation. So packaging cost plus label cost plus remedy times the amount. And so of course, order of operations is going to do the amount of the remedy and then add in those. And now this is the number that we get to control, which is going to be our upcharge. So when we go out and do investigations of like maybe what our competitors are selling for, we can use this to tweak our total product price. So here what I'm going to do is that the product price it's going to be the total cost times the upcharge. Okay. And then we're going to want to know how much we earned. So let's do another formula, which is going to be the product price minus the total cost. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put in some information about some materials so that we can actually try out these I'm going to go ahead and put in some materials so we can try out this system so far and see how it's going to work. So I'll be right back with the magic of video. All right, so I put a bunch of materials in here and we can see how I've got some plans, I've got a Minstrum, and I've got some packaging. So let's go ahead and create our first remedy. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to just go ahead and create the database template for this. So this is going to be remedy. Okay. And I want to grab a copy of the ingredients table. And I'm going to filter where the remedy equals the name of the page that I'm on. We can hide the database title, rename this to ingredients. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the remedies, with the products table. By the way, this side view, this is something they added last year, the side peek, and I love it because see how I can interact with both pages at the same time. It's fantastic. Okay. And again, we're going to filter by the remedy where it equals the name of the page. Let's hide that title. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and make use of this. So I'm coming to my remedies table. I'm going to create a new remedy. And I'm actually going to come back to this Tulsi because remember we created this Tulsi and I said it was going to be part of a remedy. So let's make it part of this one. Let's call this a Tulsi tincture. Okay. And then just unite this to the Tulsi tincture. All right, so that way we didn't lose that. So now I'm also going to say that I'm going to need here and I like to name these for what I did use them as because I'm going to have multiple instances where I'm going to show Tulsi in this ingredients table. That is actually one of the main reasons why we don't put it all in the materials table. We want the materials table to be clean, where this ingredients table is going to keep growing for every instance of an ingredient that we use in a remedy. Okay, so this we'll grab some vodka as our Minstrum. And let's say we're using 8 ounces. Now, of course, as I said before, I'm not measuring. So when I actually go make this remedy, I will have to measure out what I'm using for each of these things. And the material here we're going to use is our Tito's handmade vodka. Okay, so now from that we can see the cost it is for each item and the total cost it's going to be for each of those items. But once more, here we can see the ingredients cost. So this is what the ingredients will cost us to make this. And let's go ahead and now create our first product from here. And so the amounts can be 1 ounce. And then what I actually would do is move these these items around. Let's make this full width for a moment. I want to go back and customize ultimately that template I made so that it is full width and so that these things are in the order they should be in. Like we don't need earnings until much later. For the label, I'm going to grab from my materials this 2x2 sticker that I'm going to have printed out. And I can hide this cost in this view. I don't need that. And then for packaging, I'm going to use the 1 ounce Boston Round. And again, I don't need to see the exact packaging cost. I don't need to see the remedy because the remedy is related to this page, so I don't need to see that or its cost. Okay. I do want to see this upcharge up here, the total cost, the product price, and my earnings. So this is where I get to tweak how much I think it's going to be. So I'm going to do 4 times that amount, which puts my product price at about $10. So I can go out and do some research with some of my competitors and see if that is the right price that I should be charging. I want to be, you know, not too far below and not too far above what my competitors are doing. That'll put me right in the right place in the market. And then I can see my earnings. Now, different things here that I could do to change that, besides changing the upcharge, is when I did my calculations for all of these, the sizes that I use, like I didn't buy in bulk. So if I buy these things in bulk, that's going to reduce the cost it is to me. Also, if I buy it on sale, if I use like any kind of like wholesaler deal discounts or student discounts, I can adjust my cost that way. But I decided that for my purposes that I'm just going to be starting out small, and so I'll probably be buying in smaller quantities, but also just think of it as like when I do, like if I get a sale, I don't want to instantly come in and change my bottom line if I'm a sale, because that's not what I'm always going to get. So I want to get what I'm likely to buy every time. So the full cost at whatever size I'm going to get. So in this case, I'm just doing the small sizes, but later on, as I produce more, I will do the large sizes. Okay, and so here, for this size, I would say that when I made this, I made 8 ounces. That put that cost in for me, and I guess down here maybe I was missing that. So now when I look at my product price, okay, that looks better. I was missing the cost of this so that it can be divided down into the cost per ounce. So now I have the right pricing in here, and again, that looks a little bit more reasonable for what I would see in the market. So let's do another version of this. I'm just going to duplicate, but instead I'm going to make this a 2 ounce, and I'm going to change the amount to 2 ounce, and I'm going to change this from the 1 ounce Boston Round to the 2 ounce Boston Round. And that now gives me, you know, all that information. So I now have 2 products based off of this remedy. All right, I'm going to pause again, and I'm going to create a couple more remedies because there's something else I want to show you that I think will be really cool. All right, so I've added a bunch of products in here. So they're all single formulas. So I've got some single herb tinctures, and then I have a tea blend. But what would be really cool is if I could, you know, create a product where I'm mixing these together. And so let's go ahead and change our database so that we can do that. So first let's go ahead and call this our ADHD formula. Okay. And so right now, if I wanted to add ingredients, the ingredients that I'm adding are just going to be, you know, from the materials table. I can't add these ingredients. So I'm going to go ahead and add some relationships here. So the first one I'm going to add, it's going to be a relationship where it is a self-referral. And I'm going to use the same field, so One Direction. Okay, and let's just call this like, instead of related, I'm going to call it base. And then I need a couple roll-ups to go with that. So first one I need is going to be the base cost. Okay. And the next one I want to do is that remedy size. Oh, I'm not naming these somehow. Okay, and I'm just going to go back to hiding these excess properties. All right, and then I need to update, or I actually need to create another formula. So let's add another property of formula, base per ounce. And this is going to be the base remedy cost divided by the base remedy size. Okay. And we can hide that. And then we're going to update our cost per ounce formula. So we're just going to add plus that the base ounce that we just added. Okay. Hide this. And now we're going to go in and add in the remedies table. So I might actually go ahead and just do this as a template. So I'm going to duplicate this template and call this a formulas table template. And then in here, I'm going to add the remedies table, filter where the base remedy is the name of the page title. Hide that, leave that up here. And now basically what this is going to allow me to do is I can do a combination. So in this case, the example I'm about to show, I'm just going to use remedies, but I might have a case where like maybe if I'm making like a lip balm or something, I might combine a remedy for an infused oil with like an essential oil and beeswax, so it would have base ingredients and remedies. All right, so let's go back to that ADHD formula. Let's go ahead and delete this. So if you delete the content of a table, it brings you back to this state where you can then apply a new template. So this is perfect, especially if I'm not adding in other content other than the base thing that's in the template. And now for this remedy, I'm going to go ahead and for my ingredients, I'm going to add the Tulsi, oops, not in remedy. delete this one. Okay, I want to go here, and for the Tulsi, in the base remedy, I'm going to go ahead and add that ADHD formula. Okay, and I'm going to do that for each of these where I need that. And actually, let's use this new feature of bulk edit. Oh, I'm loving this. Okay, so bulk edit, and then we're going to change the base remedy to that ADHD formula. All right, so let's go back in. Okay, so in this case, I didn't need ingredients. I could just delete it. Doesn't bother me there. So let's do 1 ounce. Oh, we have to put the size. So we want the size to be 8 ounces. I did decide to use these tags for tinctures and tea blends. And so the amount we're going to make, again, is that 1 ounce with the 2x2 label and the 1 ounce Boston Round. And let's give it an upcharge of 4 times, which brings the price to about just under $12. So that's really cool. So we're able now to use this remedies table to create single plant remedies for tinctures as well as a tinctured blend, which is quite awesome. Excited about that. So let's go ahead and add some of these tables up here, because up here is where we want to track what the stock is doing. So I'm going to go ahead and do a copy link and paste this up here. Actually, I want to do a 3x3 layout. So let's go ahead and create 3 columns. Okay, I want to put this up here. I'm going to do some changes here. I want this to be a list, show the title, or don't show the title, I guess is what I'm saying. I want to filter where the status is either out of stock or low stock. And then the properties that I want to show is going to be the status. Okay, so I can quickly see here what's out of stock. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do that now for the remedies and the products. Oh, I did not put a status on my products table, so let's go ahead and add that. But also there's one more thing that I want to put in status for this particular one. So let's change these 2 out. As the default, I want to put hold stock. So if I don't want to put this on sale for any reason, I could stick it to hold stock instead of out of stock, or, you know, so it means I don't have it, but I also don't want to list it for sale. This isn't especially pertinent if things aren't in season, or I might have changed my mind about a product temporarily. Let's see. All right, so now let's go ahead and finish this. All right. So that gives us right at the top of the store, we can see how we're doing. So these are things the materials I need to buy. These are remedies that I need to make, and you can see it's not all my remedies. And then these are the products that I need to put together. So even if I have, you know, cascades down, so I can't make this 1 ounce betony product because I don't have any with betony tincture because I'm out of vodka. right? So I can see here what I need to be able to do these things. Let's go ahead and add a cover. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's awesome. All right, now there's one more thing I can do here to make this really cool. Let's go ahead and work with this last table, which is kits. So for this table, I'll keep the tag again, but I'm going to go ahead and do a relationship to products, and I only want it to be one way. And then I want to do a roll up of that product price. And then I'm going to go ahead and do like another status here. All right, and then for this page, I'm going to go ahead and just here state the products that I want. So this is going to be my Peace and Focus kit, and okay. And for this, I'm going to go ahead and add in the 4-ounce tea blend, and then I'm also going to add in that ADHD formula that we created. Oh, where'd it go? We did create the ADHD formula. Oh, did I not save it? Oh, it just says one ounce. Okay. Oh, and I did not do this roll up properly. We don't want the name, we want the total cost sum, to add those amounts together. And then it would be helpful to get that price as well. All right, so this is how much, and actually I don't really want cost. I don't care about that at this point. I want to know what I'm going to earn. So let's change this instead of cost to earnings and go ahead and sum that. Okay, so that's going to be the price for this kit. It gets you a 1-ounce tincture and a 4-ounce tea blend. And then I am able to not just stock single products, but I can stock kits. So this is really exciting. I can't wait. I'm going to take my computer, head into my herbal office, and just start sticking in my inventory, see what I've got on hand, and see what I can, start to list out in my storefront. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I mean, I know it was focused on herbalism, but this could be applied to a whole bunch of handcraft types of items. No matter what you're making, if you're starting with base materials and having to create something from that and then turn that into a product, this storefront is really the key to knowing what you've got on hand and doing your pricing and where you're going to get your sourcing materials. All right, so let me know if you have any comments or questions in the comments below, and take care.